Hi, I'm Mary Wong, and this is Fertility Talks. And I'm doing something totally different because we're having totally bad connection and things aren't working out. I'm trying to get a guest on, and I'm going to try to figure out if I can. Let's see. It's not allowing me to do this. Let's see if we can bring her on our guest. Anybody watching this? Requests to be... We're gonna have to cut and do something. Request to join. Oh, I see. Allow viewers to send your request to join your broadcast. You can add them at any point. So you need to go onto your cell phone and see if you can request to be on mine. Because I'm on live. This is crazy, but what the heck? Let's see if you can do this. And then I press something if you ask to join. Let me know if you see me somewhere. This is crazy. Okay, guys. I've never had to have this problem before. And there's someone watching. Okay, no. You got to go onto my actual live posts. So, for example, like if you're my Facebook, if you like my Facebook page, Mary RTCMP, right? So if you go onto your feed, I should be on live somewhere, and you just join, you start watching it, click on it, and then I can bring you on. Because I see someone else watching it, and I can bring them on, but you know, then that'll be someone else's story, not yours. Wait, I see you. You're there. Here you are. I'm gonna bring you on now. Oh my gosh, let's do this. Let's do. Let me see if you're here. We're adding you. We're adding you.
Okay. Oh! Okay. Wait. Okay.
All right.
Now.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
On.
Okay. Can you hear me?
But that's okay.
Okay. Oh, so now I have to hold my phone and yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
But you're very brave and you did it.
And we did it.
Yes, you did it.
Okay. Well, okay. So we're still having a bit of a technical difficulty. There's a big delay. That's okay. So we're going to be patient. You know what? Can you put on your headset?
Yes.
Sorry, guys. We're just having technical issues at the time, but we can get this going in a second. It's an adventure. Can I tell you that computers are an adventure?
Yes. Yes. Can you hear me better now?
Way better. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay,
how come you don't need to hold your phone? And I do.
Oh, because I put it on top of my laptop computer.
Oh, me too. Now I did it also. Okay, good. Do you see me well?
Yes.
This is too funny to begin an interview this way.
Okay, I just want to let our viewers know that we had like a hell of a time. It's taken us a half an hour, and in the end, I started off with my desktop computer, and then we went to my laptop, and now we're just doing straight up cell phone. So we're able to do it. I'm sorry we can't do a nice split screen, but at least you got on. So thank you for your patience, and thank you everyone for your patience. And we already have some viewers, so it's awesome. So I think what we need to do is introduce can you introduce yourself, please? Tell everyone who you are and why you reached out to me, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So my name is Ayelet Levytan, and I'm an infertility stress management coach. But the reason I reached to you is because I wanted to share my fertility journey. And I think that what I have gone through is something that many women are going through, and they're not aware of the things that can actually affect their journey. They don't think about that, things that happened to me. So I wanted them to be aware of that
Absolutely.
from my story.
I think that's really great. And I really want to thank you for reaching out and being able to tell your story, because certainly for most people, it's such a private issue and it's difficult to talk about it. And especially when someone is going through their journey, and now you've
Yeah.
overcome your journey. So that's
Yeah.
fantastic. And I see that you're giving back and making a life out of it by coaching others. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to a shout out to Andrea and a shout out to Cindy, who's watching us right now.
Okay,
Thank you for
good.
being here. Okay, so tell us, bring us back to, how long were you trying to conceive before you decided that there was actually perhaps an issue?
I think a year, because I got married at the age of 22, which is very young.
Right?
So I didn't even think that can be any issue at this age. And I had this beautiful vision that by the age of 30, I will have 4 kids. But it didn't happen. So after around a year that I saw that I'm not, no, actually after a year, I was was able to naturally conceive, but then I lost it. I had a miscarriage. And then it took me another year. And then again, I had a miscarriage. And then I just went to the doctors and began to look to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that I just began 10 years of fertility journey. And while this journey, I had 12 pregnancies and 10 miscarriages and 2
Wow.
amazing kids. But that was long, very long. And the doctors did any test they could done, and all the tests came out perfect, that there was actually no issue whatsoever with myself or with my husband. And I was under the title of unexplained infertility. They didn't know
Right.
what's going on. They just didn't know what's going on. And the thing is that because they told me that there's actually no issue, this put so much more stress on me, because if they tell me that there's no issue, how come there is an issue?
Yes.
And
Right.
I felt so much shame with the fact that how come my body is failing me, even though the doctors are telling me that everything is normal. I just wanted them to tell me something, that this is wrong, take a pill, it will be okay. But they didn't know what to do with me. They just didn't know. So I went through this, and I was under a huge stress and anxiety, like constantly, absolutely constantly, because I couldn't break through. I was anxious with the fact that maybe I will never become a mother.
Mm-hmm.
And when I became a mother, I was anxious with the fact that I might lose the pregnancy, which happened to me 10 times.
Yes.
So I couldn't break out from this loop of stress, anxiety, stress, anxiety, stress, anxiety.
Of course.
And it was so hard, because no one ever spoke to me about emotions, or about the fact that there's a importance for the emotions. There were a medical protocol to follow, which I have followed all of them. I did so many fertility cycles, but no one ever spoke to me about my emotions.
So let me just go back. So when you say you went to a fertility clinic?
Yes.
Okay, and so then you did treatments and
Yes.
you continued to get pregnant, but you had loss every time.
Yeah. So it happened that around once a year, I was able to conceive, and then I would just lose it.
And how were you getting pregnant? Were you getting pregnant still naturally, or were you using?
No. When I arrived to the fertility clinic, it was already fertility cycles It wasn't natural anymore.
So meaning insemination or IVF? What were you doing?
Yeah,
Which one? Were
yeah,
you doing IUI, insemination, or IVF?
yes, IUI.
IUI. Okay. So you were getting pregnant through IUI, but you were never keeping pregnant.
And no, no, I was able 2 times out of the 12
Got it.
to, yeah, I was able to do that. And the thing is that I was losing my pregnancies late,
Oh,
like after 10 weeks. And again, the doctors were like, we don't know what's going on. They just didn't know what's going on. They couldn't explain what's happening, which put me under so much more, like I said, stress and anxiety, because if they don't know, who will know? I was so dependent on them. And also I was so determined to get to my goal, which is being a mother, that I never stopped and took care of my emotion. I was just, I'm strong, I'm moving forward, and I just go, 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 go. I just, until I hit my target. So my son was my sixth pregnancy after 6 years, and my daughter was my ninth pregnancy. And then I had 3 more pregnancy after that. And then I decided that, okay, no more. So I stopped. So it was a very long journey. And
absolutely.
I didn't ask for any support, like emotional support, because there was no room for that. Like no one ever spoke to me about it. So I didn't think it's a thing. So I just followed the medical procedures, which was so uh, not helpful for my emotional state.
So how did you know that you needed help with your emotional state after all this?
Well, I didn't know back then. I didn't know at all. I didn't know because I was so good at disconnecting myself from my body that I wasn't aware that I need help. And the thing is that my body gave me so many signals that it's out of balance, but I didn't know how to read them.
Right.
I totally didn't know. So let's say I was a very stressed person. Like it was, and after the tiniest thing didn't work out, and I was like losing it. And I was very snappy. I was moody. I had severe headaches. I had insomnia. I was having hard time falling asleep, and if I would have fall asleep, then I would have waken after a few hours and couldn't fall asleep again because my mind was constantly analyzing
Mhm.
the situation. Um, I had a constant stiffness at my back, sorry, at my neck and my shoulders, and I had unexplained rash on my skin that no doctor or cream could cure. And I had infertility, all of this. And I just didn't connect the dots. I didn't realize that my body is actually signaling that it's out of balance. I just didn't know. I just thought this is who I am with all these 1, 2, 3 symptoms. I didn't realize these are signals for my
Right.
body.
So when did you realize that these are signals and symptoms to say, hey, listen up, there's something going on and we need to address
Uh,
it. So when did you realize
okay.
that?
So this happened years later when I already finished my fertility journey. And the thing is that I became to think that this is who I am with all these 1, 2, 3, everything that I told you. And when I looked at my life, I really loved my life because I had this beautiful family. I had great relationship with my husband. I was a successful businesswoman. Like it was all seemed so perfect, but I felt that inside something is heavy. Something is weighing me down, but I couldn't pinpoint. So because I couldn't pinpoint what it is, I didn't know where to turn to get help. And whenever I looked at my life, I was like, what's wrong with you? Everything is so perfect. So how come you feel something that is not, that something is wrong? I just didn't know what to do with it. But one of my girlfriend asked me to come with her to an EFT presentation, emotional freedom technique. And I came. And the presenter was Nancy Forrester, who is a master EFT, and she's a director at NEFTI, which is National EFT Training Institute in Canada. And I arrived to her, it was in the evening, and I arrived after a very long day, very stressful day. I was so stressed out, and I had this huge headache, of course, which was me having headaches. After 10 minutes into the presentation, I felt such a calm and my headache was gone. So I understood, okay, there's something about this EFT. I didn't really still get it, but I understood that there's something. If my headache was gone without a Advil, then there is something here. So I decided to explore it. I enrolled to the course of EFT level 1. I liked it so much, I enrolled to the level 2. I liked it so much that I decided to enroll the practitioner program because I just wanted to heal. And I saw the difference that's going on with myself. So through the program of becoming a practitioner, I was able to go through a transformation. And while I was doing the transformation, I lost all the symptoms. Absolutely each and every one of them. I had 0 symptoms, physical symptoms, none whatsoever. And I was becoming such a calm person. I wasn't stressed anymore. I wasn't anxious anymore. And if I was feeling that something is coming, I knew what to do about it. So it was never exploding to something big. So not only all of this happened, I was also able to deal and actually accept myself during all these long years of fertility challenge. And I was able to mourn of all my losses, which I've never done during my journey.
So I think that's very, very, very important to stress. So I appreciate your journey. And I think if we're going to do a bullet point thing for everyone, if you're watching this and if you've ever had a loss, which I'm going to say anyone who has gone through fertility challenges, you have a loss every month, whether you're pregnant or not.
Yeah.
So I love it that you're saying that, you know what, you recognize that you never mourned. And I think this is one of the issues. A lot of people don't, because you're on this mission to have a baby. And we need to respect our journey and respect our losses month after month, whether it is the loss of what I call the want of a child, right?
Yes.
Every month, it's like you have this hope and this aspiration, and yet every month it gets shut down. So it's this roller coaster ride of hope, anxiety, and then this despair when you actually get the no, or despair when you physically miscarry. And but you know what? And we don't talk about it, so you just have to keep your mouth shut and you keep on going and you keep walking and you keep on working.
Yes, and that was so terrible that I did it for 10 times. 10 times I did it. I just moved on. But that was so wrong, because all these sadness and anger and frustration was kept in my body. It just was piling up. but back then of course I didn't realize it, but because I was clearing all these emotion, I was clearing all these traumas, I was even clearing the emotion around each time I got the negative answer on the stick, which happened dozens of times during 10 years.
Of course.
All of this one by one, I let myself cry because I didn't cry all these years. So I let myself cry and really be with myself and accept myself for who I am, and realize that I can still be strong. That was like my thing. I'm strong, I'm moving forward, I have a target, okay? I can still be strong while I'm sharing my pain. I was not sharing my pain. It was a big mistake. But this is something I was able to clear while I was going through the transformation. So this is something that was huge for me. I forgot what was the question. I got so much into talking about about what happened
I
to
like
me.
to kind of have bite-sized chunks, and you're creating lots of points. And what I want to point out to those of you that are watching is, here you are experiencing so much loss, so much grief, but it all gets, packaged in, tightly bound into your body, and you just go on with your life and you ignore what's screaming at you from the inside out. Your symptoms are coming out, oozing out, and we're still not listening. And what's really important, like, so in Chinese medicine, we say it's very normal and to be human to have and experience all emotions, which include sadness and grief. So it's not about just, oh gosh, we should have to be happy all the time. It's, we need to be able to experience and let go and emote what we need to as a human being. And when your perception was, I need to be strong, well, and then after the fact, you realize that strength is not internalizing. There is strength in being vulnerable and strength in being honest with your emotions.
Yes.
So for those of you who are watching, I encourage you, and this is so poignant because it's a common theme. Women just want to, keep it together. I'm going to keep it together. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to ignore everything else. I'm just going to keep going. Right?
Exactly. That was a mistake. So I saw one woman here. She asked what kind of a transformation I went through. So the transformation I went through was using the EFT technique. I became a practitioner, and while I was enrolling the program, I learned how to be a practitioner. I was able to release all of this and take care of all of the emotions. And then I realized that not only I feel so much lighter, and all of the physical symptoms were gone, and I was able to deal with all the traumas, I realized that actually you can live with no physical symptoms. I have to say, I forgot that it's possible. So you can actually wake up in the morning, there's no pain whatsoever. And you move on your day and there's no pain anywhere, and you sleep so well. And whenever something stressful is coming at you, you know what to do. So you immediately quiet it down and you calm your system. So I discovered life that I didn't know it can happen, for me at least. Like for me, I lived a totally different life than this. So that's how I realized that my body was signaling, because when I was without it, I knew that it was signaling me that it is out of balance. But when I got into a balance, there was nothing to signal. I was in balance. So that's how I realized that it all were symptoms.
Thank you. And I just want to add in a comment. Like, I'm reading everybody's comments, but the contribution here is Cindy, thank you. As an RN, this was never something that was discussed in school. The mother was left to deal with her thoughts while we supported the physical part. And again, that's very true. So, really in the West, we're left with really separating our body and our mind and our soul. And what we're saying is we need to embrace all of you, right? And all of you includes the body, mind, and soul and emotions. So we don't want to disregard that. So, and that's really the point of your journey. It's like, wow, your body gave you lots of signals, and not just, the unknowing had you not recognize and not deal with it. But now you know. So the message it would be then to let's take care of all of you and not just, a part of you, right? Like, or trying to force a baby into the world. We cannot force a baby into the world. So it's a matter of, listening to your signs and signals of distress, both physical and emotional, and addressing them. And when we address them, it's the ability to reach out to others. Because also, I would have to say, a lot of women and men, there's a pride in keeping everything together. So you feel like you're a lesser of a person if you reach out for help. Right?
Unfortunately,
Yeah, that's our society. But what we say here is, you know what? And I say this in my book, it takes a village to raise a child, but really it takes a village to create one. And it creates and it takes a village to be a successful and thriving human being. I mean, you look at any successful person on the planet and you'll see they have a team around them, right? Whether it's like, an athlete or even a financially crazy guru or whatever, they all have teams. They don't do it all by themselves. So why should we think that it's any different for us to try to thrive in our lives? So I always say, call on community, share with a friend, reach out to professionals. So, you do EFT, which is emotional freedom technique for those of you who are just joining in. But, I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner, acupuncturist, herbalist, lifestyle, dietary coach, all of it, right? But, so there's different people you can reach out to. And, start at home by being open and with your feelings and your thoughts with the loved ones in your lives.
Yes, 100% yes. I vote for that. I wish I would have done it, but now I can say that it was, it was missing in my journey.
Yeah. So I think it's really great that you're sharing this. And, like I say, I don't think anyone has to have one pathway. There's so many different pathways that we can heal ourselves through. And EFT is one technique. And so here's a question. Yes, EFT can be helpful. And I do know, like with EFT, there's tapping involved. And what's interesting is I've had EFT myself. So there's a lot of tapping of actual acupuncture points. So Susie has a question. How often should we do EFT?
Well, it really depends, Susie. If you already know the technique, then it will be, and if you're pregnant, or actually if you're not pregnant, it's good to do at least 10 days, 10 minutes a day, just to calm the system down. But if you are going through emotional turbulence, then it will not be enough. If you do it by yourself, then you need help from a practitioner. Now, maybe for those who are asking all the questions, maybe I will stop just for a minute and explain what EFT is, because not everyone knows that EFT is emotional freedom technique, and it's based on acupuncture. And what we do, we use 9 acupuncture points that are mostly located on the face. And what we do, we tap the points instead of using a needle. And while we tap the point, we are tuning into the issue that's bothering us. And that's how we remove energy blockages. It's very similar to acupuncture, but just different.
But
so this is the EFT. But what? Pardon me?
I said, well, it's similar and different because number one, you can do
Of
it by
course, it's
yourself.
different.
You can do it by
Yes,
yourself, and
yes,
there's obviously no needles involved. But what we
yes,
also do know, for those of us that do acupuncture,
yeah,
we're tapping into acupuncture points, and they can be triggered through not just needles. So, we
mm-hmm.
use laser, there's tapping, there's what we call, one of my practitioners, he just call it's like a light touch, right? And when we look at studies, we see that even fake acupuncture elicits results. So when you're tapping,
Yes,
you're obviously tapping and stimulating the acupuncture points. So it does
yes,
renders a message and messaging to the brain, and the body will respond.
exactly, exactly,
So Orly asks
exactly.
where she can learn more about EFT.
Well, it depends what you want to learn, Orly. But I would strongly recommend a NEFTI, which is National EFT Training Institute, where I got my certification, because there are level 1 and level 2. You don't need to be a practitioner in order to help yourself. And of course, you can contact me, and I can help you with that if you want.
So what we can do, so at the end of this, you can just type in your contact information so
Yeah,
anybody can reach out to you. Okay.
yeah, yes, okay,
So is
perfect.
there any last word of advice that you want to give to people that are watching and that are struggling through
Yes,
fertility?
there are two important things that we didn't speak about, and these are actually the things that I wanted to speak about, that were affecting my journey. And I don't know that people, I don't think people know that this is something that can affect your fertility. One is the childhood event.
Sorry, what was
Um,
that?
childhood event. Childhood
Oh,
event.
childhood. I'm sorry. Yes,
Okay.
got it. Got it.
So childhood event, and I know that we know that when is a traumatic event, we know it's affecting our life and our childhood, our adulthood lives. But I'm not talking about traumatic events here. And I wanted to give example from my journey. And I wanted to give an example of an event that happened to me at the age of 4, which is like a neutral event, but it was that's cute. It's a neutral event, but it had a huge impact on my life. And that was when I was at the age of 4. Everyone in my family told me that I look like grandma and I'm strong like grandma. Now, my grandma was a World War II survivor, and I grew up on hearing stories of her heroic acts.
Right.
I also never saw her cry. So that means at the age of 4, I decided that I'm strong no matter what, like grandma was a hero, and strong people don't cry. This created so much stress in my life, because this is how I conducted myself since then.
Right.
I don't cry, and I'm
Right.
strong no matter what. And if
Right.
you take it to my fertility journey, then you can understand why I didn't share, I didn't cry, I didn't mourn. I thought that I need to be strong no matter what, and just go, 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 go.
Mhm.
So this is an event like my grandma was a wonderful person. So all my parents did was comparing me to a wonderful person. But this was actually huge. It had a huge effect on me. So while I went through the transformation with EFT, I was able to clear the emotions around this event, and understand that I can be strong while I'm vulnerable.
Yes,
Strong doesn't
absolutely.
mean that you don't cry.
Absolutely.
That's what I understood, and why it's important, because I can share. I know we don't have time, but I can share multiple stories from my clients that they had a childhood event, and again, not a traumatic one, that created an energy block, which really sabotaged their ability to conceive or to hold the pregnancy.
Yes, and it's really great that you're able to articulate it, because as people are going through their journeys, they don't really know, right? And it's very poignant and it's very honest. And oftentimes this happens. I'm not going to say it's in all cases, but certainly.
No, of course not. But some cases, people just don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And when you don't know, and we don't know what we're holding on to either.
Yes.
So you've been now. You didn't realize this until after the fact.
Yes,
so now it's
I know.
to reflect back,
yes,
right?
Yes.
But so the truth is that we have stories, we create them, and we live it like it's a truth.
Yes.
And that this is the way we need to conduct ourselves, to be in our lives, to look a certain way, to look good, right?
Yes.
To feed our egos, and yet, it gets us so far, but it only gets us so far.
Exactly.
So there's limitations to every story that we tell ourselves.
Yes.
And we're all really great storytellers. And what you just did was that you transformed because you decided to tell a different story.
Exactly.
And create a different story. So, for those of you who have had multiple losses, or, again, even just every month not getting pregnant, or whatever diagnoses that you are coming across through your fertility doctor, just know that these are just what I call baseline. So you don't have to live it out like a prison sentence. I say that in my book, Pathways to Pregnancy. What you need to do is reinvent yourself and create a new scripture. And certainly not in a way that creates expectations, which will cause you more grief, right? Because it's like, oh no, I'm going to get pregnant this month. Oh, I'm going to just think it and I'm going to become pregnant. So again, that's more forced, right?
Yeah.
Versus just embracing yourself as you are, and just actually looking at, there is possibility for change, and there is possibility for healing. And instead of, gosh, my doctor says I'll never be able to get pregnant naturally, just know that there actually is a possibility.
Yes. Yes, 100% yes. Yes. So that was the first thing I wanted to share, that I wasn't sure that people are aware that childhood events can affect their fertility journey. And the second one is maybe will be shocking for some for some of the women who are hearing us. But even events that happen while you are in the womb can affect your fertility journey. And I wanted to give example for what happened to me as an embryo, and you will see how it's connected to my fertility journey. It's shocking that while I was, and my mother had contraction, my father drove her to the hospital. On the way to the hospital, they were attacked by terrorists. And the terrorists threw stones and rocks at the car and tried to divert the car to the side of the road. So that was like 2-3 minutes, which looked like to my parents like, I don't know, 30 minutes. After these 2-3 minutes, my father was able to drive away from this place. So they arrived safely to the hospital. I was delivered safely. The car was ruined, but they were safe. Okay. Now I want to go back to the scene of what happened. Now, an embryo do not know how to differ themselves from the mother. So whatever the mother feels or think becomes the embryos. So my mother was positive she is going to die at those 2-3 minutes. So as an embryo, I developed 3 super terrible limiting beliefs. 1 is that it's not safe to be pregnant. 2, it's not safe to deliver a baby. 3, when things are going out of control, there's a fear of death.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's go back to my fertility journey. As this part of my subconscious, which developed while I was in embryo, about to be delivered, this part kept me safe and didn't let me conceive. And when I was able to conceive, it aborted the pregnancy, because it wanted to keep me safe, because it's not safe being pregnant.
That's right.
And not only that, during this journey, I felt like I'm losing control over the situation and over my body. And losing control meant to me fear of death. Well, I have 10 times death, which each time I lost my pregnancy. And that put so much more stress and anxiety on me. So this is something that explains to a T what happened to me. So I was able, of course, to clear it out. But I can tell you again that with clients that I have, some of them, of course, not all of them, but some of them, while they were in embryo or while they were delivered, there was a trauma. And this trauma is affecting on their fertility journey. And this is something, may, of course, not always, yes, thank you for that. Not always whatsoever, but sometimes it may affect the fertility journey. And this is something that can be cleared with a method which called matrix birth reimprinting, which is based on EFT. So this is also something that we can do. And I don't know if people know about this option, that this possibility that something that happened to them while they were in embryo is affecting their fertility journey. Yeah. So that was the second thing I wanted to say.
Thank you. I think that's really insightful, and I think it may resonate with some people. Now, I'm realizing just technically my battery's going to die.
So we're having too much fun. We're having too much fun.
That's a sign. It's a sign. We have to go.
Okay.
But I really appreciate you being here, and I think
thank you.
I think the viewers is getting a lot out of this. So I really want to thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing how you overcame your challenges. And by the way, for those who are watching, you are the first person that told their story that has not been my patient. So just as
Wow.
So it's great. And I love it. So I would love to hear more people come out with their stories that I haven't physically seen. So it's awesome. And maybe, again, if you can bring out your contact information, if people are interested, they can certainly, you can share your story and share your insights and your expertise with them. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mary. And thank you for your patience. Like we had a rough start for the interview because of the technical issues, but you were on spot.
That's all right.
Thank you.
We have the perseverance, and thank you all for watching. And thank you, Sandra Greca, for watching, who is like in the UK at the moment. And what the heck time is it? It's like in the middle of the night.
Yes. Maybe she had insomnia like I had.
He's doing too much. He always does too much. We're actually going to be interviewing Sandro. I don't remember when. I think it's April sometime. And so,
okay, good.
And he's an acupuncturist and Chinese medicine practitioner from Ireland. Are you from Ireland? I forget. Oh, my bad. Okay, I'm having short-term memory right now, but that's okay. I'm still here. So it's going to be awesome. Oh, it's 2:30 a.m. Oh, and there you go. So,
oh, wow.
Well, we're worth it. So there you go.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. Especially you. You're doing such a wonderful job, Mary, bringing all these people to your Facebook Lives, and you give so much information to your community. It's beautiful. You're an inspiration. You are.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I say, like there's lots of people, I see people volunteering outward. I'm like, you know what? I can volunteer within my own home and give people what they need, which is the proper information, the right information. And just today I saw someone that posted, and I'm not going to say names right now, but they have like 14,000 people following them on Instagram. And there was a post and it was 100% wrong. So I have to actually reach out to them because
Wow.
if 14,000 people are looking at this information, they're getting the wrong information. So I'm going to
Yeah.
guarantee you that the information that we provide here is 100%. Well, I'm not going to say 100%, but at least, you know, there's a lot of it that's research based, up to date. And I don't want to steer people the wrong way at all.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So you're doing a wonderful job. And thank you for that.
You're welcome. Well, thank you for reaching out, and it's and again for sharing your story. So we're gonna have a great night now, and Sandra, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, okay? But of course I don't remember what the heck I'm talking about next week, but it's always going to be good. So tune in next Wednesday. I believe actually that one is next Tuesday on the daytime. I'm pretty sure. Anyhow, we'll post it the day before or we'll surprise you. So you can either catch us live or watch it after. Okay. So have a great night. And by the way, for those of you who showed up, I was speaking at the Canadian Fertility Show on the weekend. And was I ever floored by the turnout? It was our second annual Canadian Fertility Show, and there was over 750 people.
Wow.
And so it was amazing. And I did a talk, and as well as every, you know, there was 20 speakers, and it was a full house at every talk. So it was really inspiring to see that people are proactive in their care. So thank you all for joining us. And we shall see you next time. Okay. Thank you.
Mary, can I say one last sentence?
Okay.
Just for the ladies who are now going through fertility challenges and are now watching us, I just wanted to say that there is hope and nothing is broken, and pregnancy is a natural process of the body, and your body wants to be pregnant. So you just need to make sure that you go through a transformation that put your body into balance, and then the natural process of pregnancy will happen.
Absolutely.
That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
That's fantastic. And yes, and that's how I say that too. It's like, no, our bodies love to receive life, and we just need to have it in the right condition to have us receive.
Yes.
So thank you.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Great reminder. Thank you again. And we're going to sign off because we've been on way too long.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you next time. Take care.
Thank you, Mary. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Sandra. Bye, Susie.